Machine, pencil, cartography. We were rehearsing various different navigational techniques for crossing rivers, and I have attempted to hint at the hydrological power level of rivers. To expand upon this topic, I would like to propose an operational parameter called washout. It is often cited in physical education that crossing rivers may be dangerous because there have been numerous documented deaths where people have died while crossing rivers. The explanations for these deaths is that the pedestrians are standing on the riverbed when they lose their footing and they are swept downstream. They often drown to death if their bodies are sucked below the water's surface. Navigational tutorials for river crossings should take into account the power level of the river. We will want to conduct multiple examinations of the river and obtain relevant information such as river cross sections, volume flow rates, and we would also like to obtain a nautical chart describing the river's depth. We can take into account additional details such as the stream slope gradient, the sinuosity of the river, and we can also obtain meteorological reports about the weather in the region upstream to our planned crossing location to determine if the river's watershed was receiving any rain, since the water levels rise in the event of rain. You would prepare a hydrological report of the river's power level, and then you would want to practice various different techniques for resisting the river's power level, whatever these power levels were. A few navigational techniques that I would suggest for decreasing the resistance of the river include lifting your feet out of the water while you walk, which will behave a lot like the concept of breakout, which we have discussed in pedestrian navigation. This technique also works well when you are mitigating the impulse that you receive from the river, because the cross-sectional area of your body's exposure to the stream decreases if you lift your feet out of the water. Next, you would theoretically receive different amounts of force depending on the orientation of your body and the direction of travel relative to the river's flow. So, you could prepare an orthotic examination of your body's surface area in the orientation of the river's current for each orientation, and then plan how to optimize your body's cross-sectional area in order to reduce the amount of resistance that you are receiving. And finally, the impulse that you receive from the rheological flow will increase with the amount of time that you spend in the stream's path. Therefore, if you take a poised approach and you cross the river as quickly as possible in one single tranquil motion, then your outcomes will be improved because you will benefit from an excitation mechanic. Thank you for your attention. This has been Machine Pencil Cartography, signing out.